Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of automotive oddities. Buckle up as we explore the 6 weirdest cars ever made in the world. From bizarre designs to questionable functionality, these cars push the boundaries of what it means to be a vehicle. Get ready to be amazed, confused, and maybe even a little bit terrified as we uncover some of the strangest cars ever to grace, or maybe disgrace, the asphalt. Alright guys, let's kick things off with the undisputed king of compact cars, the Peel P50. Now, I've parked some pretty small cars in my garage, but this thing makes a Fiat 500 look like a monster truck. Seriously, the Peel P50 is officially the smallest production car ever made, measuring in at a whopping 54 inches long and 41 inches wide. To put that in perspective, that's smaller than your average refrigerator. But the real kicker? This thing only has 3 wheels, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Now you might be thinking, Doug, how do you even drive this thing? Well, buckle up because the Peel P50 is as quirky to drive as it looks. Powering this micro machine is a 4.2 horsepower engine. You read that right? 4.2 horsepower. It's basically a lawnmower engine with a roof. But hey, at least you won't be breaking any speed limits with a top speed of around 28 miles per hour. And the best part? No reverse gear. That's right, if you need to back up, you have to get out and physically drag it. But hey, let's be honest. Who needs reverse when you can just pick the car up and turn it around yourself? It even has a handle on the back for just that purpose. From one tiny car to another, let's talk about the BMW Isetta. Now, when you think of BMW, you probably picture sleek sports cars or luxurious sedans, but back in the 1950s, they were cranking out this little head-scratcher. Picture this, a car shaped like an egg with one giant door in the front that swings open for you to hop in. Yeah, you heard that right, the entire front end of the car is the door. It sounds crazy, but it was a stroke of genius for its time. See, the Isetta was designed for post-war Europe, where fuel was scarce and people needed a cheap and efficient way to get around. And this little bubble car fit the bill perfectly. It could seat 2 people somewhat comfortably and sipped fuel like a hummingbird. Plus, that single front door, it actually made parking a breeze, as you could just nose right up to the curb and hop out onto the sidewalk. Now, I wouldn't want to get into a fender bender in one of these, but you have to admire the Isetta's unique design and its impact on automotive history. It proved that sometimes, the weirdest ideas are the ones that take off. Alright folks, buckle up because things are about to get amphibious. That's right, we're talking about the Amphicar Model 770, a car that can conquer both land and sea, or at least calm lakes and rivers. This wasn't some wacky concept car either. This thing was actually produced and sold to the public. Imagine cruising down the highway, top down, wind in your hair, and then deciding on a whim to just drive straight into the nearest body of water. That's the kind of freedom the Amphicar offered. Now, it wasn't exactly a speed demon, with a top speed of 7 knots on water and about 70 miles per hour on land, but that's not the point, is it? The real appeal was the sheer novelty and coolness of being able to transition from car to boat without batting an eye. Of course, there were some quirks. For starters, it had 2 propellers in the back, which looked a bit out of place when you were driving down Main Street. And let's just say it wasn't exactly the most graceful thing to watch entering the water. But hey, who cares about grace when you can tell people you own a car that can swim? Chapter 4. Messerschmitt KR200. Did this escape from an air show? From the water we take to the skies. Well, sort of. Meet the Messerschmitt KR200, a car that looks like it would be more at home zipping through the clouds than navigating rush hour traffic. This 3-wheeled wonder was the brainchild of aircraft manufacturer Messerschmitt, which explains its rather distinctive, shall we say, aeronautical design. Seriously, this thing looks like someone took the cockpit of a fighter jet, stuck it on top of 3 bicycle tires, and called it a car. And you know what? It kind of was. The KR200 had a tandem seating arrangement, meaning the passenger sat behind the driver, just like in a fighter plane. Even the steering mechanism was more akin to an airplane yoke than a traditional steering wheel. It was cramped, it was loud, and it probably wasn't the safest thing on 4 wheels, but man, it was cool. It was like driving a piece of aviation history, and in a world of boring, boxy cars, the Messerschmitt KR200 dared to be different. Chapter 5, Stout Scarab, the original minivan. Alright, let's step back in time to the 1930s and talk about a car that was so far ahead of its time, it was almost futuristic. I'm talking about the Stout Scarab, a car that, believe it or not, is often considered the first minivan ever made. Now, when you picture a minivan, you probably think of those boxy people haulers from the 80s and 90s. But the stout Scarab, with its streamlined design, rounded edges, and spacious interior, was way ahead of the curve. This thing looked like nothing else on the road at the time. It had a long, low-slung body, a spacious cabin that could comfortably seat 7 passengers, and a rear-mounted engine, which was pretty revolutionary for its time. But the Scarab's most striking feature was its focus on passenger comfort. It had movable seats that could be rearranged into a variety of configurations, and some models even came equipped with a table and a built-in bar. It was like a living room on wheels, and it was marketed towards families who wanted to travel in style and comfort. Chapter 6. Reliant Robin 3 wheels too much? And finally, we come to a car that needs no introduction. The legendary, the infamous, the one and only Reliant Robin. This 3-wheeled wonder is a true icon of British motoring, known for its, shall we say, unique handling characteristics. Now, I've driven a lot of cars in my time, but nothing quite prepared me for the experience of getting behind the wheel of a Reliant Robin. This thing handles like a shopping cart with a mind of its own. It leans into corners like it's about to tip over, which, to be fair, it often does, and the slightest gust of wind feels like a hurricane trying to push you off the road. But that's all part of the Reliant Robin's charm, right? It's a car that doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's impossible not to crack a smile when you see one wobbling down the road. It's a testament to British ingenuity, or maybe it's just their sense of humor, that this car was in production for over 30 years. And you know what? I kind of love it for its sheer absurdity. It's a reminder that sometimes the most memorable cars are the ones that are a little bit different, a little bit quirky, and a whole lot of fun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more fascinating car content. Let us know in the comments which weird car was your favorite. Was it the unbelievably small Peel P50, the charmingly quirky BMW Isetta, the Go-Anywhere Amphicar, the airplane-inspired Messerschmitt KR200, the surprisingly spacious stout Scarab, or the hilariously unstable Reliant Robin? Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your minds open to the endless possibilities of the automotive world.